Good afternoon. So last time we sketched a parabolic function whereby the value of a was positive. So now we must sketch it when the value of a is negative. So remember what we said. We said in order for us to sketch a parabolic function, we need to know the shape of the function. We need to know the intercepts with the axis. We need to know the turning point as well as the equation of the axis of symmetry. So one thing we can see in this case, the value of a is negative. So meaning we are expecting our function to be convex. You can either say it's convex or it's concave down. It's up to you. But that's fine. So we are done determining the shape. We know that it's supposed to be facing down. So the second step is to find the intercepts. So here we said the value of C is going to tell us the y-intercept. So there's no need to let x to be 0. However, you can do that if you prefer. So we know that the y-intercept is going to be 12. So meaning the coordinates of the y-intercept, it's where x is 0, y is positive 12. That's fine. So now that we know the y-intercept, we need to determine the x-intercept. And we said in order for us to determine the x-intercept, we need to let y to be 0. And we said to you, every time you see f of x, you understand that it is y. So where you see f of x, you see y, meaning you see 0. So you'll have negative 2x squared plus 2x plus 12 like that. Then from this point, it's just a matter of solving for this quadratic equation. So here you realize that 2 is going to be a common factor. But instead of taking 2 out, we take negative 2 out. So we are left with we are left with x squared, and then we say minus x, then we say minus 6 like that. Of course, the whole thing is equal to 0. Then from this point, we divide throughout by negative 2. So it means we are left with x squared minus x minus 6, which is equal to 0. Then from this point, we want to factorize this trinomial. So we open 2 brackets. Then we say, what are factors of x squared? It's just going to be x and x. Then we say, what are factors of 6? Such that if I either add or subtract, I'm going to get negative 1. You see that? So I'm just going to take 3 and 2, because 3 times 2 is going to be 6. But we know that the bigger number takes the sign of the middle term. So it means this one has to be positive, so that negative 3 plus 2, it's going to be negative 1, which is the coefficient of x here. That's fine. Then from this point, we are just going to apply the 0 factor law. So we say x minus 3 is equal to 0, implying that x is equal to 3. Or we are saying x plus 2 is equal to 0, meaning that your x will just be negative 2 like that. So if we want to write our x-intercepts in coordinate form, then you'll say x is going to be 3, where y is 0, and x will be negative 2, where y is going to be 0. So we are done determining the intercepts with the axis. Then from this point, we need to determine the turning point. So remember, we said for the turning point, we can do it in 2 ways. We said we can either complete the square or use a formula which I shown in the previous video. But now I want us to do it in both ways. So let's start by completing the square, because you need to know how to complete the square. So we said, what is the first thing we do? We said to you the coefficient of x squared must be 1. If it's not 1, then you must take that thing out as the highest common factor. So meaning I'm just going to take -2 out as the highest common factor. If I take it out, I'm left with x squared minus x minus 6 like that. That's fine. Then I can complete the square. So how do I complete the square? I'm going to write x squared minus x as they are. Then I'm going to say plus, I say half multiplied by the coefficient of x, but I square this. Then I say minus half multiplied by the coefficient of x, it's still squared. Then I say minus 6, like that. Then from here, I simplify. So what is going to happen here? It's just going to be x squared minus x. Half multiplied by -1 is a -half. -half all squared, it's going to be a quarter. So you say 1/4 minus 1/4, and then you say minus 6, like that. Then you'll still have your -2 here. But what do? You're going to take the first 3 terms because they form a trinomial. So what are you going to do with those 3 terms? You want to factorize those 3 terms. So you say, what are factors of x squared? It's still x and x. Then you say, what are factors of 1/4? That add up, or rather such that if you either add or subtract, you get -1, or rather 1 if you prefer. So you can see that the factors of a quarter, it's going to be half and half, because half multiplied by half is 1/4, but half plus half, it's going to be 1. But now the signs here, they need to be negative, so that -half minus half, it's going to be -1. Then from here, if you say -1/4 minus 6, you are just going to get 25/4, like that. Then from this point, what is going to happen? You still have -2, but because you have exactly the same thing, 2 things there that are exactly the same. So you're just going to take it once, and then you square the whole thing. So it's going to be this, then you say minus 25/4 like that. Then from this point, what do? You distribute the -2. So -2 multiplied by the bracket with a square, it's just going to be -2 into x minus a half, then you square it. Then you say -2 multiplied by -25/4. It's just going to be +25/2 like that. So you are looking for the coordinates of the turning point. In order for you to find the x coordinate of the turning point, we said you take what is inside and then you equate it to 0. So this means that the x coordinate of the turning point will be a half. Are you fine? Now this x equals half. It's also the equation of the axis of symmetry, because we said to you, the axis of symmetry passes through the x coordinate of the turning point. That's what we said to you last time. So now you have the coordinates of the turning point. You also have the equation of the axis of symmetry. So you have everything you need for you to make a sketch. So let's go ahead and make a sketch. I'll just erase this part, just so I don't forget. The coordinates of the x-intercepts, it's 3 and 0, and then -2 and 0, like that. That's fine. So we said the value of a is going to be negative. Therefore, the function is supposed to be convex. That's fine. But what is the turning point? It's going to be where x is half and y is 25/2, which is roughly 12.5. Yeah, it's not roughly 12.5. It's 12.5. So this is where the turning point is going to be. We said the y-intercept is going to be 12. And then we are going to have an x-intercept at +3. Oh, we said the turning point is at +1/2, not -1/2, +1/2. So this is roughly what we are going to have. So we are going to have like that. Then it's going to cut at -2. And then it will go all the way to +infinity. Then even here, it's just going to come like that. And then, that's what it's going to do. So this one is a lot better than the graph I had drawn previously. Much better. So it means I'm improving. Then from this point, what is happening? You are just going to draw your axis of symmetry like that, because we said it's a line that cuts your graph into 2 equal parts. But please draw it using a dotted line. A dotted line is much more preferable instead of a solid one. Now let's use a dotted line. That's fine. Then you'll tell us that this is the axis of symmetry. You label it like that. Then you must label your intercepts. Very key. Everything you have calculated, you must show it on your sketch. Of course, you must label the axis. Tell them that here it's going to be 3 and 0, and that here it's going to be -2 as well as 0. But here we said the y-intercept is going to be 12. And you said to me the turning point will be where x is half and y is going to be 12.5, like that. Then from this point, you'll just label your graph and tell us that it's actually f. And then here you'll say it's your y-axis like that. And yeah, that's it for this question. Yes, that's it for this question. Yeah, is it really it? Yeah, I think it's it. It is it. It's it. Hey, I'm not sure. But I think we are done for this one. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't subscribed, please do the subscription and please do the likings of this video as well. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching, for paying attention, and for taking your time to watch this video. Let's see you again in the next one.